On this week at Nutrition's My Life, we're going over your health non-negotiables. And if you don't know what a non-negotiable is, you're in the right place to learn to grow. So I've kind of coined this term years ago because I was negotiating my health. I was like, no, I'll sleep later. I'll ignore my body. I'll ignore that exhaustion. I'll just kind of push through. And I just was negotiating my health. I was like, oh, I can deal with it. I can push through. I'm just a new mom, right? And I found all the excuses to kind of feel like crap. And I'll be like, oh, well, I can figure it out. I can figure it out later. And I never really put my entire health first. And I started realizing how much that was hurting me. I was trying to do everything for everyone else. And it just really became so exhausting that I just didn't really recognize the person in the mirror anymore. I didn't like who she had became, or she became who she became who she became or become. um, well, I just didn't recognize myself. And so when it came down to it, I started realizing that I needed to take a step back and realize like I was negotiating with myself. I was saying like, it's okay. Like you'll be fine. At least you're eating healthy. At least you're getting some movement in. But I didn't realize that the reason why my thyroid was still so out of whack and why I was having so many thyroid symptoms. I was getting migraines left and right, lots and lots of pain and achiness all over the body. And so I started realizing that like my daily habits were not serving me. I was actually like, it was serving someone else and it was great for someone else, but for myself, I couldn't do it all. And then I felt that guilt because I would compare myself then to other people and be like, well, they could do it. They did this. Look at them. And I started comparing myself and I was just like really difficult to really come out of that dark, hard place. You know, I would joke around and say like, I'll always be sick. And you know what? I always found something wrong with myself. And it's not that I always found something wrong with myself, is that I let the little things become big, right? Like, yes, I know I have a history of migraines, but I wasn't doing anything to help prevent it. I was, going to see the doctor. I was on like 3 different kinds of medications for it. But besides that, myself, I was just kind of banking on medication to be it for me. And then once I started realizing, oh, my synthroid really, like isn't really helping me as much as the doctor said it would. I was having all these other issues. And so I was like, you know what, screw this. Let's start taking things into my own hands. And so that's when I started looking at my entire day to see what was serving me and what wasn't. And so I started breaking it down to morning routine, day routine, and evening routine. And this is what I do on my sessions with my clients. I like to kind of say, like, I want to go like know what's going like on from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And so what I do when I send them I call it their health plan, is that it's broken down into morning routine, day routine, and evening routine. And then that's broken down even further to your daily habits or your habits, and then your nutrition aspect of things. And so, even this morning, I had a client say, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with trying to get everything in, that I only focused on my food non-negotiables. And now this week, now that I've gotten better at my food, I'm going to start focusing on the habits and my morning routine. And so just literally just boxing stuff out like that can really make a difference. And so I'm going to give you an example of a morning that I see typically and with my clients. And then I'm going to go back through and share with you how to change those up to improve and find your non-negotiables. And again, non-negotiables are just either daily habits or foods, that are tools, if you want to think about it like that, that you do on the daily or weekly or as much as you can, right? Give yourself grace through this. But these are the things that you do on the daily. So that way you can be that version of yourself that you're wanting to be. So that way you can overcome those health struggles and be that best version of yourself even with health issues. Let's go over what a typical morning that I hear when I get on sessions, and it will reflect a little bit, I guess, what I used to do as well. And I'll go over how to find those non-negotiables and actually how to start, implementing some of those things as well. So the first thing you kind of want to do is like kind of make note, like when I wake up in the morning, do I have a lot of energy? Or am I tired and exhausted? If I have a lot of energy and I'm ready to go, then we need to use that, right? We need to use that energy and be able to say, okay, this is a good thing. Maybe we then do some stretching, or maybe if you're like the person that just gets up and just makes coffee, makes the kids food, and then you're out the door, getting to work, getting to school. And I know summer's here, so that might be a little bit different, but you're just the type that goes, right? Just slides into your day. So if that's what's happening, we're going to then look at your day and say, okay, I need to find some time for me in there, some sort of maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you can't do that. And it can be as simple as, just getting up and stretching in bed. It could be, I had someone do that actually to eventually get up to start working out towards her Peloton. And then maybe it's I need to get outside and I don't have energy to do much but sit outside, but maybe I can sit outside and drink my coffee then. And if you're the type that is so like struggling to wake up, we need to look back at the day before, and we'll get there. Yes. Everyone who's not on TikTok right now, my one of my old clients is like, that was me. I did that. It was you. I do remember that. Now I can't get out of bed 31 weeks pregnant. Oh, well, that's a little bit different, man. It's exhausting growing a baby, growing another human. But like doing little things and stepping into it. And that's what she had to do. And that's why, she was successful with it for a while before getting, having baby number 2 coming. Got a log roll. Oh, they said gotta go. I was like, but yeah. So if you're having that like, oh my gosh, I'm having such a hard time, we will talk about the evening routines and the whole day routine. And that's really where we need to reflect more on, except for the morning. I mean, the morning routine is crucial, but your entire day is going to really kind of set the tone for how you sleep and if you're getting into deep sleep. And if you're getting into that deep sleep, that's where the weight loss happens. That's where the hormones get back into place, the anxiety reduction, inflammation reduction. We cannot underestimate how precious sleep is. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So my best tip for you in the morning is to find something that works for you, that feels right for you. So for example, I wake up in the morning and make my turmeric latte. That is the first thing that I do, because I know that when I drink my turmeric latte, that cinnamon, that turmeric, that ginger, that actually makes me feel good. I don't have as many migraines. I don't have as many like achy joints. It makes me feel better. So that is something that I have put on my non-negotiable list. I noticed that if I don't take some time to stretch in the morning, or to do some breathing or just something other than just drink that turmeric latte, my anxiety is higher. And so I take the time to stretch, to do some yoga, and I go to bed early enough so that way I'm a 9:30, 10 o'clock girl. So that way I can get up in the morning before the kids. And I'm not going insane hours. I get my 8 hours of sleep and then I just wake up. So that way we can get that like movement and everything going, right? And then once the kids come down and I help them if they need help with their breakfast, but then it's my turn to eat. Or if I don't have a full breakfast, I will at least minimally have a snack. And the reason why I do this is because I've read research, I've been a dietitian for a while, and that eating within 2 hours of waking up can actually help stabilize blood pressure, blood sugar, and I'm sure helps out blood pressure. but it helps out with the blood sugar stabilization. But it can actually help kickstart your metabolism. And one of the things that I hear from my clients is like, oh my gosh, I'm eating more and I feel so hungry. And being hungry is a sign that your metabolism's working. It's a sign that your hormones are being sent to your brain so that you get that proper signal, right? So it is a good sign that we end up having yay. My client's leaving. Miss you. It was awesome. I can't wait to see that little man. But yeah, so which is exciting. I didn't know he was a little boy. So exciting. Congratulations. Sorry, all on the podcast. We're like, who is she talking to? But getting that breakfast in, whether it is a full meal or at least a little bit of a snack. I tell my clients, like, if you can't do a full meal, grab some nuts. If you can grab some seeds or, I mean, I joke around, like, go grab some nuts, right? Come on, you have to have fun sometimes. But honestly, grab something small that has some protein and some carbs with it, right? So we could have nuts and a banana, or berries and some pumpkin seeds, or we can have an egg or some yogurt with a little bit of flaxseed in it, with some berries or some fruit or whatever it may be on top, if you're not going to have a full meal. This is one of the things that I notice with majority of my clients who are skipping their meals or having a hard time with their metabolism. Simply getting in something, like I said, ideally within 2 hours, but it's not always the case, but just do the best you can, just to at least have something. So if you go into work, and it's a crazy day at work, always in the morning, maybe you always keep some fruit and some dried nuts and seeds on your desk, or in your locker, wherever it may be. That's what I used to do when I worked away from home. I had all sorts of different mason jars with lids, dried fruit, nuts, seeds. I would bring apples and oranges a couple times a week, so that way I would make sure that I had everything. Because if I am going to maintain my thyroid, so I don't currently take any Synthroid, I have half a thyroid. So if I want to maintain where I'm at, I'm going to continue to eat the way that my body knows, and reacts well to, and that's eating more frequently. How many times have y'all gone, multiple hours without eating anything, and then you're like, oh my gosh, all I'm doing is craving sweets? I guarantee if you start by feeding your body nourishing foods, those sweet cravings later dissipate and they go away. And there's multiple reasons behind that. We're not going to dive into that, but just remembering that, okay, if I don't feed myself, my blood sugars are going to be all out of whack. I have a higher risk of, my metabolism not working the way I want to. And so this is where, if you're going to be going, traveling somewhere or whatever it may be, grab a snack every time, no matter what it is. Like this morning, I ran and met someone someplace. My daughter and I went shopping for my son's birthday. I had the rest of the container of blueberries, rinsed it off, and then I filled up a baggie of walnuts, because it was just an easy way for me to make sure that I could fuel my body properly. And I was grateful I did that, because my daughter was like, Mom, I'm hungry, right? And so it's also a great way to, as a parent, to also be like monkey see, monkey do, right? And that's a lot of the reasons why many clients that I work with also have picky eaters, is because they just tend to avoid those foods in general. So whatever you're eating, definitely, if you have kids, make sure that it's something that they are exposed to as well. All right, so we know that some of the non-negotiables that I personally do are the turmeric latte, the eating breakfast and or snack, the stretching, the movement in the morning. Another thing is I make sure that I am by a window when that sun comes up, or I will go outside. That sunlight helps out with your circadian rhythm, which is your hormones, which is your sleep, right? And so I was so proud of my client this morning. She was like, I got my mood lamp, because if you don't get outside, or if you don't have that ability to get outside, or just life's too crazy, a simple, like it's like $20 online. You can find one and put it in your bathroom. So while you're getting ready, you get those UV rays that are going to be helpful for that direct sunlight into your eye. So 20 minutes a day has been shown to help reduce anxiety. About 30 minutes a day helps out with depression. I almost said dementia. I was like, that's not there. It actually can help prevent prevent that from happening. Y'all, we can't we kind of take for granted how powerful nature and sunlight can be for us, and how important it is for even blood sugar regulation, our vitamin D, obviously, stress reduction. So it just has really, really cool benefits. So, if you don't get outside, at minimum, you open up a window, and at least have some of that sunlight coming at you. So depending on if I have a client or not, or what I have scheduled for that day, sometimes I will then have my workout, go to the gym, or take the dog on a hike or on a walk or something. And the reason why I am mentioning this is because some days my body cannot do it. A couple days ago, I had thought I was going to be able to work out with my husband at the gym, but I have had it's been a heavy heart, right? I mean, since the Uvalde shooting, it's been really heavy. And so I've had a hard time stressing out. I'm sure my anxiety got the best of me, but Mama Bear came out and was like, sorry, I made the decision to keep, or my husband and I made the decision to keep the kids home the last couple of days of school. That mom guilt was just like driving me crazy, because I felt so guilty for taking that away from them when they didn't get that the last couple of years with COVID. And so I did not sleep well. And so when my husband's like, hey, you ready to go? And I was like, I think I need to just take the dog for a gentle walk around the block. And then if I have energy, I will stretch and do whatever I need to do. Guess what happened? I did not have that energy to do anything else afterwards. But what I did do is honor my body later on when I had the opportunity. And I understand this is a privilege because I do work for myself, but I had the opportunity to take a nap. It was not a long nap, and it was like 20 minutes, but I recharged my body. And I think that it's like a great analogy is thinking about, like, we push through all the time, right? When we're not feeling like that, because we want to reach a goal, we want to feel good. I have to do this, right? And so you kind of push your body across that limit, across that threshold. And sometimes that backfires for us, right? That many times, if you're a thyroid warrior, it backfires for us, because our thyroid is the most susceptible organ to stress. So we actually start to see more improvements with our energy, with our weight loss, when we honor ourselves and actually rest, and instead of push through on things. And so listening to your body, and like I said, the analogy I wanted to share, and I got sidetracked, was like recharging your phone. Like, how often do y'all, sometimes we plug our phone in overnight, right? Or if it runs out throughout the day, what do? Plug it right back in. But yet for ourselves, we expect us to just kind of push through, plow through, and our bodies, can handle it at times, but we end up like having such having such a hard time with our health, that we just like then don't understand, like, well, how did I get here? Right? How did I get here? And I see someone asking me a question. I'm recording a podcast right now, so I can definitely get back to that later. So for people that are I push, go. I do everything for everyone else, right? Make sure the kids are taken care of, make sure my boss is taken care of. I'm answering the phones, I'm doing everything all the time, like 10,000, I'm wearing 10 different hats, right? And so if you're the 10 hat wearer, we need to realize that we either need to delegate or be okay with things not being done. A great example of this is I had a client, these are my thyroid clients as well. So I had a client who was not seeing the weight loss that she was wanting to see. And she was a nurse. And I realized, like, hey, let's go over that. No worries. So let's go over that. Let's go over that. Let's figure this out. And so I realized that after her 12-hour shift, she would then go to the gym and work out and push, right? But she had just spent 12 hours on her feet doing so much. I want to say she was a labor and delivery nurse. And so she was really like, really doing a lot, right? If y'all have never experienced birth, you have no idea how amazing those nurses are. They are amazing. They are a different breed. I would have had a C-section if it wasn't for my labor and delivery nurse. And so yeah, sidetrack, squirrel, something shiny over there. So getting back to that, what did we have a conversation about, right? She was fueling her body appropriately. She was feeding herself what she needed to do. And the real, what ended up changing for her was, I was like, I think your body is too stressed to handle this workout later on. So let's do something where we actually change it to the morning on your days off, or sometime throughout on your day off. And if we can do that, it gives your body the chance to then have like that stress like release really the way that you're wanting it. Because if we work out too late sometimes in the evening, that raises up our body temperatures and we don't end up going into our deep sleep properly, because the role of melatonin is to cool the body off. Everyone thinks it's just like to help us sleep. Yeah, it does. It helps us sleep, but it helps us sleep by cooling the body off. So a non-negotiable for her was to stop working out after work. And now she only works out on her days off. And guess what happened? She was like, I dropped a couple pant sizes and was so excited. And that was the major thing, was that her body was in a state of stress from an entire day of work. And it just needed an entire night to recoup, to recharge. And then she was able to go back into that. So that's why taking a step back and looking at your day, like, yeah, I want you to work out. I want you to reach your goals. But if your body and if your daily habits aren't supportive for that, then we need to kind of switch things around and look at, like, maybe we can put that at a different time of day. I had a gentleman not too long ago where that's exactly what we did. I just moved his workout. He would come home from work, eat dinner, or yeah, eat dinner, and then a little bit later go to the gym, and then would work out later on, and was having a lot of digestive issues. And I was just like, well, you're going to eating, then going straight to the gym, and then you're going like recumbent, you're laying down. So what we can do is just switch some things around. So I had him after work, he had a snack, and then he had his gym, and then he had dinner, and then he was able to fall asleep better, improve his digestion, and things kind of went out. So sometimes it's just like, just moving things around. And that's why those day blockings, the morning routine, the day routine, the evening routine can be really helpful. So diving more into the day routine, something that I noticed that most people need are stress reducing tools throughout the day. And so in addition to feeding yourself, don't skip that lunch. That is very important. And so before I go into that stress reducing tools, let's talk about the food. So one thing that I notice all the time are lack of carbs at breakfast and lunch. And then no wonder at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you're just wanting to just, eat ice cream, chocolate, all the sweets, right? So try something. And that's my client did this morning. She was like, this week I ended up adding a quarter of a cup of rice, which we had talked about, to her breakfast. And it was white rice even at that, right? It's okay that she ended up, was like, I was still pretty hungry soon after. So I now have a half a cup. And then she was able to last until lunchtime. And then she realized that if I made a smoothie when I was craving like my sweets, that got my sweet craving, and I was able to continue to hold myself over to dinner. And then I made better choices at dinner because I wasn't just starving and just putting stuff in my mouth while making dinner, right? I was able to then like focus and make a complete meal. So definitely carbs are your friend. They really are. So when you're making your lunch and your breakfast, make sure to include a source of complex carbs. Right? We all on the same page, right? So when I say that, I'm saying that we're going to have some carbs, we're going to have a source of protein, we're going to have some color, those antioxidants. That is right there. When it talks about, yes, you need your protein for muscle building and blood sugar stabilization, but so many people lack the antioxidants. And once we get those antioxidants in, holy crap, the inflammation starts to go away, the body receives the tools and it's able to start to repair itself. So, and because those antioxidants are the colors in our fruits and our vegetables, just think plants, right? That now it can be a game where you're making your lunch and your or just your meals, and you can be like, all right, how many colors can I get in here? And that is one of my non-negotiables, is that I try to have minimum 3 different colors at every meal. And it drives me bonkers when I, like, not too long ago I made a pesto pasta, and yes, it was chock full of antioxidants, but Nicole over here, who's always like, eat the rainbow, it was just all green. I was just like, but honestly, those meals are totally fine. It was just the, I guess, OCD style of what I teach about, right? Monkey see, monkey do. But the point is to have, I try to aim for at least a cup of vegetables at most meals, and ideally a cup and a half. And if I can do that, and a lot of times I don't get it in at breakfast, sometimes I get it in just fine. But that's why, being aware of what you've eaten earlier can be really impactful. So maybe you have just an egg taco, right? And so how can I do that? Make that egg taco better for me. I can add some color in, right? I can or enhance it by adding some avocado, some cilantro, some tomato. I can add some more color to my salad, or make my salad more nutrient dense by switching out my iceberg lettuce to spinach. I can make that salad more well balanced by adding some cooked quinoa or some sweet potatoes or just regular potatoes to my salad. I can make that salad enhanced more by adding some sunflower seeds on top. I can enhance that salad even more by making sure that it has multiple colors in it. Maybe I'm adding some beans and legumes, or some garbanzo beans, and I add some bell peppers and radish and broccoli, and just make it a variety of deep, rich colors. So that way my body can then receive the nutrition it needs. And once you start to do that, that's going to be a non-negotiable for you, because you're going to be like, I love the way I feel after this. And that is another one that you can tack on to your non-negotiables. And if y'all aren't doing this already, making a list of everything, get your pen and paper out and start doing it. I forgot to remind you. But like realizing, like, what makes me feel good? What are those things that I do that made me feel really good? I know that I feel really good when I take my supplements. I know that my headache and my inflammation in my sinuses swell up when I don't take my fish oil like I do. I know that if I don't eat my nuts and seeds, I don't feel all my inflammation starts becoming big again. So just look into what have you done in the past that makes you feel good? And if you don't know quite yet, start doing things and then reflect. How did that make me feel? Right. And that was another, I mean, I was just like, my last couple clients have been phenomenal, but this one, I was just like, this is freaking amazing. Like, because she did exactly that. And she had COVID last week. I was just like, you're amazing. But she ended up like saying, like, I realized that I didn't, I was still hungry too soon. So that's why I went from that a quarter cup to a half a cup, right? I realized I felt better and I was able to make better decisions when I fed myself better. And so just adding in that smoothie and making sure she had carbs was really the magic that helped out, right? And so what we can try next is now going into your evening routine and being like, okay, maybe you get that lull around 3 or 4 o'clock. A lot of people do. And maybe that's the time you honor yourself and you rest. Maybe that's the time you reflect and say, hey, did I feed myself properly? More than likely, it's what I see with that 3 to 4 o'clock slump is underfeeding, lack of carbs, and a cortisol dysfunction. And so going into dinner time and everything, a non-negotiable for me, especially the second half of the day, I make sure I wear my glasses that have the blue light canceling on it. And that's the reason why I don't wear them in this in these videos that often, is because you can see the blue light reflecting really, really strongly on them. But blue light is going to mess up with that circadian rhythm. So that is a non-negotiable for me. And it's a non-negotiable for so many people, especially if you have anxiety or you just like suck at sleeping, right? You're like, I don't know why. I can fall asleep and then I wake up in the middle of the night, or I fall asleep just fine, but I wake up in the morning feeling completely exhausted and I slept 8 hours. I don't know why. Y'all, the blue light canceling glasses, I cannot like speak enough how helpful it is. The amount, my clients that have had OCD, which is like anxiety to the extreme, right? My clients that have OCD were the ones that have sworn by those blue light canceling glasses. They're the ones that have been like, they typically can't sleep very well. Lots of to-do lists, lots of things going on in their head. But yeah, just that alone can be like a game changer. And so that's really what we're trying to do here. Like, what are the things that are working well for you and what's not, right? So if you're on your phone or just watching TVs and movies at the end of the day, okay, yeah, I mean, that's a great way. I mean, I do that frequently too, right? Once the kids are to bed, let's turn something on and watch some TV. But if you're getting that blue light just constantly like illuminating like from you, it really, really, it can be a miracle type of tool to really help you out, because what that is doing is it's tricking your brain, that blue light. So even on your phone, I know that phones have I can reduce it to the night thing. That still doesn't eliminate all of it. If you're the type of person that falls asleep to the TV on, I had to tell a client, I think it was last week, like, can we try excuse me, can we try like a sound machine or YouTube that you can just listen to? My goodness, gal. This is me talking a lot. So alrighty, but yeah, we just got to look at our day and see how we can kind of, what doesn't work for me and what needs extra little help, right? So hopefully these me going over some of my non-negotiables and some of the non-negotiables that I see with my clients is eye-opening for you. So if you don't know what to put into your non-negotiables, if you are a thyroid warrior, I would recommend checking out my book, The Healthy Thyroid Guide. If you, or getting on a session with me, or if you're supposed to say, if anyone else, let's hop on a session. Let's go over some of your non-negotiables. Let's figure that out. So that way you can, I like to think of it like as a blueprint. It helps you figure out what you need to do, right? It's kind of like your checklist, your to-do list. And the cool thing about it, before I sign off, the cool thing about the non-negotiables is that when you do feel off, you now have this list that you can reflect to and say, what is not working for me anymore? Maybe sometimes you outgrow a habit and you need to replace it with something. Or maybe you forgot to do something. There's been times where I'm like, why is my anxiety so high? And I'll be like, oh, I didn't refill my magnesium, or, oh, I haven't been working out the way I should, or, oh, I've been having too much screen time. Right. And so once you have those, like those habits, those limits, I do have myself a screen time limit. When you have all that, like, you might notice like, oh, okay, it allows you to, I like to say it like, I weeble wobble, but you don't fall down, right? You get to a place and you're like, I'm not feeling the best. Let me look at this to get back on track. So that way I can then be that version of myself that can do all the things. So hopefully this was helpful for y'all, so that way you can understand some of the things that a health warrior who has gotten into a better place does on the daily, weekly to feel good. So hopefully this was helpful for you as well. And if it was, please share, like, do all the things to let me know. Again, this is a one woman show over here, so I never know unless y'all tell me. So I would appreciate some just some feedback. Those are always awesome. And I get some great ones on TikTok. But if you're listening to this on the podcast, I would challenge you to share a story on Instagram about something really exciting that you did and tag me in it. Or if you listen to a podcast and you enjoyed it, share it on Facebook with someone else, because we don't want to keep all of this stuff to ourselves. But it also lets me know that I'm on the right track of helping y'all out. So let me know, and I will be back next week. Again, I do apologize. I didn't really mention this earlier, but I didn't come on last week. I was just not in the right headspace to talk after the Uvalde shooting. If since I did mention that, if you can, please call your senators, please speak up, please go out and vote, register to vote if you have not already. Put your ballots in the mail if it's already come in the mail. We have to be the ones to make that change. There are a small group of people speaking very loud, and so if we want change to happen, we have to be the ones speaking up and taking action. So those are my 2 cents to make sure that that we can make sure that our kids are safe. That's just no other way to put it. So yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic, fantastic day. And I will be back next week for another episode at Nutrition's My Life.